Hi, my name is Andrea. I'm a registered nurse, a nutritionist, and an integrative health coach. I help people dealing with chronic health symptoms like fatigue, hormone imbalances, um, gut issues. I try to do it without the overwhelm and helping people walk into the life that they want to live and living with energy. I'm going to talk a little bit about a program called Metabolic Balance. I'm going to talk about what it is, how it works, and what the coaching process looks like. And then I'll end with telling you what's included in my program and what the cost is. So, what is Metabolic Balance? It is an innovative all natural nutrition program. It brings balance to your hormones, optimizes your health, and leads to a lifestyle. The side effect of those other things being long-term weight management. So it was originally developed over 25 years ago in Germany by Dr. Wolf Funfack, and he designed it in order to heal inflammation that he was seeing in his patients and help reverse metabolic syndrome. Worked great. And then also he saw that these patients were able to achieve optimal body weight. The program was designed by looking at the chemistry of an individual and then matching it up with the chemistry of food and using food as a prescription. The foundation of the program is its unique ability to develop a truly personalized nutrition plan. Like I said, it uses blood values, medical history. You're able to use your likes and dislikes to develop the plan. So it really, truly is personalized. That nutrition plan acts as your roadmap. So it helps to show you exactly which foods you need in order to make those biochemical changes in your body. It's totally natural. So all of the foods that you're going to get at the grocery store and the farmer's market. There aren't any injections, pills, shakes, proprietary foods, nothing else like that. You also don't need to keep points or count calories with this. So the reason or the foundational science that this is based on is that people are able to produce hormones and enzymes. That is what's needed to create balanced metabolism. And we'll look a little bit more at that in a minute. With that balanced metabolism, you're able to tune into those inner signals. So, like your appetites, your likes, your dislikes, to figure out what it is you need. What can you expect from the Metabolic Balance program? Well, we already talked about weight loss, but the biggest thing for me was definitely improved energy. You can also expect better sleep, improved moods, less GI issues, hormone balance, and improved immune function. Over 70% of your immune system is housed in your gut. So, as your gut heals, you're going to see a lot of these benefits. There's also a potential to reduce or eliminate medications, which can be so helpful. Um, so you may no longer need medication for high blood pressure or diabetes or cholesterol. That's not something that you're going to change with me, but that is something that we will talk about, address, and that you will talk about with your primary care provider. Can also expect to see reduced allergies and intolerances, improved joint inflammation, and less pain. There's a potential benefit for people who suffer from PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. Most people, myself included, save money on the weekly grocery bill, so the program does end up paying for itself over time. And there's no excessive workouts or anything like that that's required to get you into fat burning. Now, that is something that we will address because there are so many health benefits to movement and exercise, but it is something that we slowly ease into as you can. One thing that I had to wrap my mind around as a nutritionist, and after working with people with type 2 diabetes and with prediabetes for years, we were always trained to eat 6 meals a day, right? A lot of you are thinking, yep, that's what I've heard. So this is what happens every time we eat something, our body releases insulin. When our body is using insulin, it's using that to use the easiest form of energy possible, because that's what we do. So the easiest form of energy possible is carbohydrates. So you can see where the curve goes over the line there. That's where we're using carbohydrates as a fuel source. What we want to do is develop a flexible metabolism so that we can switch between carbohydrate burning and fat burning. So everything that you see below the line in that purple is fat burning. When we eat 3 meals a day, we're still using carbohydrates as an energy source, but we're getting into that fat burning in a way that we're not able to do when our body is constantly releasing more insulin, which signals our body to use carbohydrates as the energy source. So here's just a picture of what it looks like when your body releases insulin. There's a whole cascade of things that happen. Your cholesterol increases, and cholesterol is an important thing. It's what your body uses to make hormones. So it's something that you do need. But it also increases triglycerides. This is the fat content of blood, and this we're more worried about triglycerides than cholesterol. That number does play into it. Also increases adrenaline and cortisol, which are your stress hormones. So when you release adrenaline and cortisol, you store fat. That's where you get that belly fat. It decreases your melatonin, so that is your sleep hormone. Also decreases DHEA, which is a mother hormone. This is a hormone that builds other sex hormones. Uh, DHEA also helps you feel relaxed. So this is another side effect of having increased insulin. It decreases HGH, that's human growth hormone, and that has a lot to do, again, with fat storage. So you're going to have more fat storage and decreased fat breakdown. So here's a picture of the foods that you eat on the Metabolic Balance program. I just think that this is such a beautiful pyramid. It's so colorful and full of real food. So this is really where we're gonna get most of our nutrients from. So fresh fruits, vegetables, salads, rye bread, potatoes in the skin. There's also milk products, fish, meat, poultry, eggs. You're going to see a little bit more of this when we look at some of the sample foods that are used. Occasionally, you can have some cereal products, potatoes, and some red wine or beer. Occasionally, you can have a sweet treat, but no soft drinks. So that is one of the only things that is truly excluded. And we're going to make sure that you're having enough water. So the way that it works, I've already kind of alluded to the blood work. So you'll have blood work done. We'll also take your personal information, so your medical information, any illnesses that you may have, any supplements or medications you might be on. All of this is HIPAA compliant, and we're going to put all of that into a database. And out of the database, we're going to get in that individualized food plan. There's 4 phases, and I'm going to spend just a little bit of time talking about each phase here. Phase 1 is the preparation phase. This phase only lasts 2 days. It is a gentle colon cleanse that I will walk you through. You are able to eat during these 2 days really nutrient rich food. The next 14 days is a strict phase. During this phase, you're only going to eat the foods that are allowed on your list. So these first 16 days are a little more strict and structured. This is your metabolic reset. What I notice with people is as they detox and they get through it, this is just a significant area of change and they feel very, very different by day 16. The next phase is more relaxed. So you may stay in sort of a relaxed phase 2 for a while. And if you move on to phase 3, this can last for longer. you could start to reintroduce some of these other foods. Restriction is something that should be done short term for a purpose, and then we're going to start adding foods in. And that leads us into phase 4, which is the maintenance phase. So at this point, this is where you're able to really see, okay, what are the foods that are fueling my body, the foods that I need, and what foods are maybe getting me to that place that I don't want to go back to. There are 8 rules that you're going to follow on the metabolic balance plan. Rule number 1, you're going to eat 3 meals a day. You saw the benefit of that. You're going to eat what's on your meal plan. And then rule number 2, you're going to space your meals apart. Again, you saw what that looks like on the chart. So the goal is to have them spaced 5 hours apart and then no more than 7 hours. I know that that's not always possible. I worked as a nurse in a hospital, a labor and delivery nurse in a hospital for 10 years. I know that that does not work for everybody all the time. So this is something that we work around. And we look at for you personally. Rule number 3 is for the grazers. We're going to make sure that no meal lasts longer than 60 minutes. Rule number 4, you're going to start each meal with 1 or 2 bites of the protein that you're having that meal. So whether it's meat, fish, cheese, you start the meal with that. Your body is going to release leptin. It's going to help you feel full quickly. You're also going to not release as much insulin because leptin and insulin play off of each other. So it's going to help reduce the release of the leptin, is going to help reduce the release of too much insulin. Rule number 5, you're going to make sure that you only have 1 kind of protein at each meal. I'm going to go into that in a minute. Rule 6, after 9 p.m., again, when possible. If you are a shift worker, you work second shift. I know that this doesn't always work, so that's something that we look at your life and what it looks like. Rule number 7, you're going to drink the quantity of water calculated for you throughout the day. So 85% of weight loss happens through water. We really want to make sure that we're flushing everything. The rule of thumb is 35 milliliters or half of an ounce per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 180 pounds, that means 90 ounces of water during the day. When you lose weight, you get to sort of adjust that. Rule number 8, eat your fruit portion at the end of your meals. You are going to have an apple each day. You don't have to have all of the other fruits, but you are able to have fruit at the end of most of your meals. The apple has so many benefits. It has a lot of really good micronutrients. It helps drop toxins into your gut to be shuttled out of your body. It reduces your uric acid. So there's lots of great things about apples. Okay, so this is what I was talking about when we look at proteins. So these are your essential amino acids. Those are the building blocks of protein. Your body will use whatever the lowest essential acid is. So you can see here, eggs, all of the essential acids are, the essential amino acids are even. Your body's going to use all of them. Then you look down at white bread, you have lysine, which is much lower than the other ones. So all of those above the line, all those amino acids don't get used. They become metabolic waste. When you combine in one meal 2 of these proteins, it still goes with the lowest amino acid. And so you end up not using a lot of the protein that you are eating. Here's an example of what a meal plan looks like. This is definitely not what your meal plan will look like. It's not what my meal plan looks like. It will, however, always start with your protein. So you know which item on there is your protein. And then it will have the amount of other things that you can have or should have in that meal. I'm going to tell you this is, again, this is such a flexible plan. So you can swap the lunches and dinners around. There's a little bit of math. I use the app, so I don't have to actually do the math, but you do have a lot of different options. And then Here we can see some of the foods that are in each of those categories. Again, this is not what my meal plan looks like. It's not what your meal plan looks like. There are a lot of other foods that are on the plan that may be included in yours. This page is another, these are more examples. So here's the carbohydrates. The vegetables and lettuce, you can always swap back and forth. There is an opportunity to have bread. So sourdough rye bread um, is the type of bread that you can have. There are places that you can order it from. If you make sourdough bread, I have a recipe that you can use. If you are gluten free, there's an option for that as well. And then you can see the fruit options on the bottom. Each fruit has a different amount um, listed there. So, what is metabolic balance's success rate? So, first of all, what really defines a successful weight loss program? So when they look at weight loss programs and see is it successful or not, they look at it, whether individuals reach their goal weight and then maintain it for at least 2 years. So this isn't just about losing the weight. This is about keeping it off. Metabolic Balance has a 60 to 80% success rate. This is the only program in over 35 countries that has over a 50% success rate. Globally, this is the highest success rate. And just to put it in perspective, the next highest is Weight Watchers, and the success rate with that program is 22%. So that's a big gap. How much weight can I expect to lose? So everybody's a little bit different, but a realistic expectation is 5 to 8% of your total body weight during that first 16-day reset period. I lost 7%, and I was a bit of a skeptic when I did it. So definitely more than possible. Then after that, 1 to 2% of your total body weight per week until you hit that optimal body weight. So, for example, if you start out at 180 pounds, you can expect to lose 9 to 14 pounds during those first 16 days, and then about 1.5 to 3.5 pounds every week after that. So, here's an outline of my coaching program. So, prior to that first appointment, you're going to complete a digital intake form and a medical assessment. That's the information that's going to go in. If you don't get it done before, it's okay. We'll do it together during this appointment. During this session, that can either be online or in person, we're going to look at your health goals because we're going to tailor the program exactly to you. We're going to look at your medications, supplements, how you're eating, sleeping, how you're managing stress. I will show you how to measure your waist, hips, and thighs. We're going to look at any food likes or dislikes that you might have, and then we're going to assess 5 pillars of health. So the 5 pillars of health that I want to look at are nutrition, movement, sleep, mindset, and relationships. So this is just going to give us an idea of where you're at in the beginning, and then I'm going to send you a welcome package that's going to walk you through the steps. After that, you are going to schedule an appointment for labs. I'll send you the requisition form. You fast for 12 hours prior to this appointment. And then once I get the labs back, all that information goes to Germany. We'll get the meal plan back. And in the meantime, you can practice the 8 rules. If you want to start practicing some of them right now, you can absolutely do that. About 2 weeks after that blood work comes back from the lab, we're going to schedule an appointment um, and meet for about an hour and go over phase 1 and 2 in great detail. I really want you to be comfortable going into it. I'll answer any questions. During the first 16 days, especially, I want you to contact me a lot. So you do have unlimited text, email, phone calls. So especially those first 16 days, if you're wondering, can I eat this food? What about this upcoming thing? What do I do? Definitely communicate. You're going to select an official start date, and then we're going to meet again for the third time about 2 weeks after that after your initial start date. So you're going to be done with that reset, the phase 1 cleanse, and then that phase 2. So at that time, we're going to talk about whether you're going to go into a relaxed phase 2 or into phase 3, depending on your goals and where you're at. We're also going to have weekly check ins. So I will send you just a form and you're going to be able to fill it out. And that's going to keep me in the loop of where you're at. And we'll be able to kind of work through some of the challenges that you're having. We'll also be able to make sure that you're balancing this and that this is something that's going to be sustainable for your life. We can schedule visits as needed or every 2 weeks, depending on what works for you and what you'd like to do. During this time, I'm going to support any health concerns that you have. Um, so, pain, inflammation, gut health, stress, these types of things. I may make some supplement recommendations. You never have to you do them, but that is something that I will do as well during that time. I might also recommend some other services. So again, those are things that you can decide if you want to do or not. They're not part of the program. They're not necessary for this to work. We're going to look at those pillars also, like sleep, mindset, stress management, and movement, and start adding some of those things in and start supporting your health. The next appointment is going to be a 45-minute consultation. That's going to be 12 weeks after the start date. So you'll be 3 months in. We're going to look at your results, your challenges, and your wins. And then again, this is fun because we're going to look at those 5 pillars of health and see where you've grown and where we maybe need to support you a little bit more. Then the last appointment is going to be a 60-minute consultation. That's at the 24-week mark. So 6 months in, we're going to look again at those pillars of health. We're going to see if you've accomplished your goal or not. Regardless, you're going to get the full package. You're going to get all of the information. We're going to talk about next phases and maintenance phase. If you want to repeat labs, that's also included. And so you can repeat labs and see where your lab work is at that point. I am going to help you feel confident and ready to move on, whether you have reached your goal or not. We're also going to talk about, sorry, I missed this. We're also going to talk about what to do if you slip and what a slip looks like. So that's another important thing that will happen at that one. So what's included? You get that initial blood work, the blood work at 6 months, that complete nutritional plan that is yours to keep. I will also send you a bioelectrical impedance scale. I'm not so concerned about your weight. I'm more looking at your body composition. So we're going to look at how that changes over the course of the 6 months. You get 6 months of personalized coaching, and there will be some videos that I send along the way as well. And this is a program that works without the yo-yo effect or the need to try something else, go on another diet. You will always have this nutritional plan for you. There's no additional costs. This is a one-time fee. So the total is $14.97. You can pay that all at once. You can use HSA or FSA. If you want to break that up into payment plans, that's very easy to do as well. Here's my contact information. Feel free to contact me. You can also check the links below and book a connection call. It's free and we can talk about whether this program is right for you. I can answer any questions there, or if you're ready to jump in, there's a link for that there as well. Thanks.